About 7 million people are affected by the loss of those unemployment benefits. Some economists say ending them is good for the economy because it will encourage more people to return to the workforce. The pandemic-related benefits for unemployed workers over the past 18 months include aid to self-employed and gig workers, benefits for those who have been unemployed for more than 6 months, and a federal $300 weekly supplemental unemployment check. Congress passed the much-needed aid after the country's unprecedented COVID shutdown last year, a move that killed jobs and threw the brakes on a strong economy. Single mother April Stokes, who hasn't worked full-time since last year, says the extra money kept her family afloat, citing affordable childcare as a major hurdle.
4 job interviews this week. Getting a job has never been an issue. It's what do I do with the kids when they get off at school at 4 until 7 o'clock when I get home from work.
Economist and former Trump economic advisor Steve Moore says the policies kept some from taking jobs.
Half of small businesses in America cannot get their workers back on the job. Enhanced food stamp benefits, increased payments to people for not working are making it very difficult for small businesses and medium-sized businesses, construction firms, restaurants, manufacturing firms, all throughout the country are just having a very difficult time getting people back on the job.
Moore pointed out just how generous the policies have been.
Families of 4 with no one working could get benefits of $70,000 to $100,000 and not work a single hour. So yes, these programs are deterring people from going back to work. And by the way, that's bad for our small businesses.
Businesses like Davis Professional in Chesapeake, Virginia.
It's hard to compete with free money right now.
Owner Jerry Flug even rolled up his sleeves to help.
It's all hands on deck. Over the past couple of weeks, we've jumped in the truck, cleaning carpets, stripping and waxing floors, whatever is needed to be done.
According to the Labor Department, there are still 5.7 million fewer jobs than before the pandemic. Still, for those willing and able to work, some 10 million jobs are open.
Factory jobs are open, trucking jobs are open, business services jobs are open. And by the way, those are not poor paying jobs. These are not, for the most part, minimum wage jobs. Many of them pay, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year to start. So it is good news. We're finally suspending these extra unemployment benefits.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration has encouraged states to use COVID relief money to keep the unemployment programs going, but none plan to do so. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Thanks, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the government can do when it starts messing with the private economy. Our chief financial editor, Drew Parkhill, is here for more on the impact. Drew, what has this thing done to the employment? Are people ever going to go back to work?
Pat, when you drive around this area, and there's a lot of traffic out there, so the economy is strong, but you just see help wanted signs everywhere. I've never seen so many help wanted signs as I'm seeing now. All kinds of businesses, too. Now, I want to look at, bring you this poll that was done by Morning Consult a few weeks ago. They were asked, why aren't you going back to work? Why are you on unemployment? 13%, the number is basically tied for number 2 answer, said, I get enough money right from unemployment. And then you drop down to number 5, and another 12% said, I'm not being given enough money to return to work. Now, part of that may well be is because they're getting these generous unemployment benefits. And you could go deeper into the poll, but there are people who are openly saying, I'm just not, I'm getting enough money. I'm not going to get enough money if I go back to work compared to what I'm getting. So they're openly saying it.
Well, now we're talking about this incredible budget that they want to put through, and the numbers are just staggering. What's coming, and explain the political implications of this upcoming battle.
Okay, there are 2 aspects, Pat, to this budget. Now, we have talked here a lot about the $3.5 trillion price tag. Well, Axios reported last night that Joe Manchin, the Democratic senator from West Virginia, has been telling the White House he is not going to vote for that. He wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal about it last week, and he said, I might only support up to $1.5 trillion. That's way below what Bernie Sanders and the White House want, and the progressives. So this is all going to be about Democrats versus Democrats on 2 fronts, Pat, and this is very important. Number 1 is the price tag, and number 2 is this policy. They're trying to turn us into Europe. Here was the New York Times headline from yesterday where they were talking about from cradle to grave. In other words, a European-style government with womb-to-tomb coverage. And that headline went on to say that it would touch virtually every American at every point in life from birth to old age. So That's a big thing. And that would institutionalize these programs. And what it would mean was they'd be a big, heavy weight on the economy, because we're definitely talking about a lot of higher taxes. And let me conclude with this. You asked about the political implications, and Democrats will say, well, the polls show this is popular. Yeah, because the polls don't go very deep. But look at this poll, Pat, and I know you know politics. This was from a few weeks ago. More than 2/3 of voters in 33 swing districts and closely watched House districts polled by this group, No Labels, are concerned the high spending from Washington could hurt their pocketbooks through inflation, higher taxes, or other possibilities. So next year, when the House races are up and the Senate races, the Republicans would use big spending against the Democrats. They'd say, you're a socialist, you're a socialist, you're a socialist. And you better believe a lot of Democrats in Congress are very aware of that.
Drew, thanks so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you there's going to be a tsunami. The question is whether we can recover with an inept president and the awful things that he and Kamala Harris are doing together, and whether it's possible to recover. But if we can hold on till that next House election, there's going to be a tsunami. People are so disgusted with so many things that are being done. The open border, they don't like. The disaster in Afghanistan, they don't like. But beyond that, they don't like the fact that there's inflation and that there haven't been adequate jobs and all the rest of it. And I tell you, the House is going to flip, the Senate is going to flip, and then it's a question of time before the White House goes. But the question is whether we can hold on long enough before all that happens.